Hi, and welcome to the Simply Investing video of our brand new web application, formerly known as our Simply Investing platform. In this video, I'm going to cover the following 4 topics. What exactly is the brand new Simply Investing web application? Then we'll cover the 12 rules of Simply Investing and the Simply Investing criteria. Then we'll look at the different account types available, and then we're going to see the new web application in action. So the Simply Investing web application is a quick and simple tool to build and track a resilient portfolio of stocks, which provides you with growing passive income. The web application analyzes and lists stocks that are of the highest quality and are priced low, so you can earn more, reduce your risk, and save time. Essentially, the web application is going to help you plan, track, and achieve your investment goals. A couple of other things, quick summary here for the web application. It shows you also which stocks to avoid, the ones that are overvalued. It will allow you to customize which data you want to view and how to view it. Allows you to create your own custom email alerts. Allows you to get regular email notifications of top ranked stocks, runners up as well. Allows you to track your own stocks and estimate your annual dividend income. Allows you to build your own watch list. Allows you to compare stocks side by side. Helps you quickly find deep valued stocks. These are stocks that will be undervalued but extremely undervalued. And then allow you to perform your own advanced research. We have over 130 data points available for each stock in our database. We also provide you with more than 25 years of historical financial data on common stocks. And finally, the Simply Investing web application tracks all common stocks, including dividend and non-dividend stocks, currently trading on the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, and the Toronto Stock Exchange. And then coming later this year, we will be adding the UK for the London Stock Exchange, and then South Africa as well. And keep in mind, all of our stock prices and financial data is updated once a day, daily. So it's end of day stock prices that are going to be available to you in our application. Let's take a quick look at the 12 rules next. The 12 rules of Simply Investing are designed to help you earn more, reduce your risk, and save you time. So you can see up on the screen here the 12 rules of Simply Investing. These are covered in detail in the Simply Investing course. If you listen to our podcast, the Simply Investing Dividend Podcast, we always talk about the 12 rules. So we have lots of examples of how to use the 12 rules, how to apply the 12 rules across all of our podcast episodes, and as well as the Simply Investing course. So you'll notice here that the rules number 5 to 11 is what I refer to as the Simply Investing criteria. Why? Because these rules are quantitative. Rules number 5 to 11. For example, rule number 5A says, does the company have consistent EPS growth? And so we look for 8% or more. So that's quantitative. If it's less than 8%, the company's going to fail rule number 5A. If it's 8% or more, then it's going to pass rule number 5A. So if a company passes all of the 10 SI criteria, it will receive a grade of 10 out of 10. Anytime it fails a criteria, it's going to fail that rule. Now, keep in mind, you are still responsible for applying rules number 1 to 4 and rule number 12. So again, the rules are up on the screen. You can pause here if you want to take a look at the rules in detail. But like I said, we cover these in the Simply Investing course. Now, you'll notice in the web application that we provide you, of course, with the SI criteria, all of the values for every stock in the US and in Canada for now. And then we're going to, like I said, we're going to add the UK and South Africa later on. And when you get those values, they are presented to you using 5-year historical data, or 10 years, or 15 years, or 20 years. And that's what I recommend. We always recommend, and you'll see in the application, the default is always going to be the 20-year historical data. Now, I know there's customers out there that want to look at a shorter time period, so you can certainly do that by looking at the 5, 10, or 15 year. And also there are companies that have, some new companies that have not been around for 20 years. And in that case, again, you can go back and look at 5, 10, or 15 year historical data. But going forward, what we recommend is to stick with the 20-year historical data when you are looking at the SI criteria. Now, you'll notice that some of the rules here, out of the 12 Simply Investing rules, are exactly the same, regardless if it's 5 years, 10 years, 15, or 20 year, right? So the criteria to pass those rules is identical. So for example, you can see it up on the screen here. Rules number 1 to 4, they always have to pass. Doesn't matter if you're looking at 5, 10, 15, 20 year data. Same thing with rules number 7 to 11A. Always the same criteria here. Rule number 11C, same thing. Rule number 11C says to look at the PB ratio of 3 or less. And so that's going to be the same whether you're looking at 5-year historical data, 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years. Now, some of the rules are going to be specific, and they're up on the screen here, based on what historical time period you are looking at. Now, not to worry, there's a lot of numbers, a lot of text on the screen here. The platform, which we used to call, is now the web application. The web application is going to make this very simple, very easy to follow. And I'm going to show you exactly that in just a couple of minutes here. So the next thing we want to talk about quickly are the different account types that you will be using to access the Simply Investing web application. So any purchases made before January 1st, 2025. So that's going to be all of our existing customers, including those watching this video here. So if you purchased in the past the Simply Investing course, and just the course, and that was a one-time fee, you will still have access to the course on the new web application, but you'll only have access to the course, right? Because that's what you paid for, and you'll have lifetime access to it. So just the username and the password is going to be different because it's a new web application, but we're going to show you how to log in, and so that will give you access to the course. Any existing customers that have purchased the Simply Investing platform are now moved over to the new web application. The pricing for you will remain the same, whether you're paying monthly or annually. So that is a subscription-based service. And as long as your subscription is active, you will continue to get access to the new web application. And like I said, we're going to look at it in just a few minutes. And then there's some of you that might have purchased the course in the past and then also purchased the subscription to the platform. So then you will have access to both the course and the web application as well, or the platform. Is that what we called it before? Going forward, after this January 1st of this year, 2025, any new customers, we are now only offering a subscription. That's it. So it'll be either monthly or annual subscription. As part of your subscription, you will now get access to both the course and the web application itself. Again, as long as your subscription remains active, you'll continue to access the course and the web application. So this web application, like I mentioned before, based on your subscription type, you're going to have access to either the US stocks or Canada or both. And then coming later this year, we are going to be offering the UK and South Africa as well. So for the rest of this demo, as we get into the Simply Investing application, I'm going to be using a test account. And this test account user has access to both the course and the web application, right? So depending on your subscription and account type, you may have access to both, or you may have access just to one. But I'll show you in the demo what you've got access to so you can see it from there. And obviously this test account will also have access to all of the stocks trading in the US and in Canada. So let's get started and take a look at the Simply Investing web application in action. So using our test account, when I log into the application for the first time, this is what I'm going to see right up on the screen here. Again, if you're an existing customer who only bought the course, then you will not see this information on the page, and you'll have to click right here where it says course, and then you'll get access to all of our course video modules and downloads there. But for everyone else who's coming from the Simply Investing platform, and this is what it's going to look like. Let me show you what I'm going to generally try to do is cover, well, obviously the first page, the home page, and then I'm going to move from left to right on the menu selections at the top and top to bottom, and then cover everything that you see on the page here. So the first thing you want to do here, and again, this test account has access both to US and Canadian stocks. So the first thing I want to do is I want to be able to select my exchange, the market. So we've got New York, we've got NASDAQ, and we've got the Toronto Stock Exchange. The Dow 30 and the TSX 60, eventually, later this year, we're going to move these over to a different drop-down menu. But these are here for people who have only purchased access to the course. That's what they were originally meant for, but we've left them in there for people who also have access to the platform and now the web application. So these are simply, the Dow 30 is going to give you a list of 30 stocks in the Dow. The TSX 60 is going to give you a list of 60 companies trading on the Toronto Stock Exchange. So let's continue with our exchange here. So first things first, if you want to switch to Toronto, I would select the TSX, and you can see that the page is now reloading, and it is showing me the top ranked stocks, and you can see in brackets the count is 15, and you can see there's now 15 stocks on the page. So in the Toronto Stock Exchange today, top ranked are stocks that get a 10 out of 10 in the SI criteria that I showed you earlier. And you can always see the description right here. If I click on the little plus sign here, this is what it's going to tell you, right? It's going to tell you that you're looking at the top ranked list of stocks in the table. These are stocks that have achieved a 10 out of 10 in our quantitative rules of Simply Investing, which we call the SI criteria. And it's going to remind you again that you are still responsible for applying rules number 1 to 4 and rule number 12 before making any investing decisions. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize the sort of table description. That'll just give us more room on the screen. And I'm going to go back and select the New York Stock Exchange. And you can see the page is now reloading, and the list of top ranked stocks has now changed, and now there's 18 stocks in New York. If you want to look at NASDAQ, you would do the exact same thing. And so that's the first thing to do, is make sure you select the right exchange that you're interested in looking at. After that is the time period. And again, I highly recommend leaving it at 20 years, right? You could change it to 15, 10, or 5. If you do so, it's going to change the top ranked. I mean, if I change here 15 years, you can see on the New York Exchange now there's 22 stocks that all pass the SI criteria and get a grade of 10 out of 10 using the 50-year historical data. But like I said, we want to stick with 20. 20 is recommended, so just leave it there. That's the default setting. So I've put it back to the 20-year setting there. Next, you can take a look at all of the 8 predefined tables that are available to you. And you can see the count in brackets. So runners up are companies that are undervalued, and they get a 9 out of 10 in the SI criteria. So there's one failure. Doesn't mean it's always bad. You can look at what the failure is and determine for yourself if you still want to invest in the company. The rest of the tables are pretty much self-explanatory. This one is a list of all undervalued dividend stocks. Of course, we're looking at New York, so that's on the New York Exchange. We have a list of all overvalued dividend stocks, a list of all deep valued dividend stocks. And if you want to know what the definition is, of course, select the table and then go back to the little plus sign here, and it will tell you what the definition is of the description of the table you are currently looking at. Okay, I'm going to move on. We also have 3 other predefined tables available to you, and these are non-dividend stocks. So we can tell you which stocks are priced low, undervalued, priced high, meaning they're overvalued, or deep valued. Okay, so I'm going to go back and stick with our original list here, top ranked. So now you can see we have here the minimal view, and that's what you're looking at right now. So the minimal view just gives you 5 columns. And this is designed on purpose, especially if you're on a mobile device. This table fits very nicely on your mobile device. And so you can quickly open up your mobile device, open up a web browser, and you can immediately see what are the top ranked stocks. We're going to show you the 5 columns. You've got the stock symbol, the name, the share price, current dividend yield, and SI criteria, of course, is going to be 10 out of 10. Now, if you're on a desktop like I am, or on a tablet, and you've got a bigger screen, or even a laptop, you can then select extended view. And what we're doing here is we're now giving you an additional 10 columns, which is the SI criteria columns. And that's going to be rule number 5 all the way to rule number 11. So you can see we've got all the rules here. If you forget what the conditions were to pass the rule, so for example, if we're looking at rule number 5A, I just have to hover the mouse over there and you can see it says right there, 8% or more. So rule 5A says average EPS growth over 20 years must be 8% or more. If you want to look at the payout ratio, rule number 7, if I hover over it, I'm just going to make some room here, hover over that, and we can see that it's 75% or less. The payout ratio should be 75% or less in order for a company to pass rule number 7. So for the 10 SI criteria, you can just put your mouse, hover over the column heading, and it will tell you what is the condition required for a company to pass that rule. Okay, a couple of other things you can do on any stock table anywhere in the web application is you can drag and drop columns into different locations. So if you're interested in rule number 5, you want to see it first, you can put it there. If you want to take the share price, you want to move it over, and I've just dragged and dropped it 3 columns over, you can certainly do that. For each of the columns, you can sort from high to low or low to high. So for example, current dividend yield, I'm going to click on it, and it is now sorting from low to high. If I click on it again, it's going to sort from high to low. Okay, and then there's a drop down here, which is going to allow you to hide or display additional columns. And so for that, I just want to go back to the top left hand here. See, it says column definitions. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. So you have access in our web application to 136 columns or values per stock. So you can see here, there's 136. I'm going to go back to the top, and you can see here, so we've numbered them from 1 to 136. And you can see, for example, the 52-week high or the 52-week low, or what is the annual forward dividend, what is the ultimate score. And then so we also have a definition for each of our column headings. So like I said, there's 136 to choose from. There's a lot of data here. We also have, for example, the current debt, current ratio, current assets. We've got the ESG score, EPS, the Graham price. You can also look at the market cap, net income, number of employees. We have price to sales ratio, price to free cash flow. We have the PEG ratio as well. And then ROA, return on assets, return on capital, return on equity, and so on and so on. So there is a lot of information available to you here. I'm going to go ahead at the top and click on the back button. Okay, now in terms of navigating the site, the browser buttons will not work all the time. And the reason for that is because we are displaying a lot of information on the same page. So for example, when I switch between these 8 different tables, I'm still on the same web page. I haven't gone to a different page. So if you click on the back button, it's just going to take you back to the login page, right? And we don't want to do that. So you'll see as I continue with the menu options at the top, we always have a built-in button inside of our web page that takes you back from the page you were previously on. Okay, so we've covered a number of things here. We've also looked at dragging and dropping columns. So I was talking about the 136 columns, so here they are, right? So let's say, now before I switch that, I'm gonna go ahead and click here. See, it says restore to original view, because you noticed I did sort the current dividend yield column, and then I dragged and dropped 2 different columns and I changed things around. So if you want to restore back to the original view, what it looked like when you first logged in, you just have to click on that. You can see the page is reloading and it's going to go back to its default settings, right? And we're back to the 5 columns that we had before. And again, we're looking at the New York Stock Exchange, 20-year historical data, and we've got 18 stocks that are top ranked today. So that's all good. And so what I can do here, I'm going to click here. Like I said, there's 136 columns to choose from. You can either scroll down and look for them, or you can search for them. So if I want to look at the Graham price for each of the 18 companies that are on the table right now, I'm going to click here. And you can see that it's now added a brand new column, and I can see the Graham price for each of my top ranked stocks. So you could do that. You can hide columns if you don't want to see them. So let's do this. And if I did not want to see the current dividend yield, I could just uncheck it. And you can see that the column is now gone. And so you can customize your stock table any which way you like. The other thing here is you're going to be able to search. It says find stocks in the current table. So if I do a quick search here for company, I guess I got to do it based on, so for now you got to do it based on name. There we go. We will be making some updates later this year where you can search by stock symbol, but for now you have to type in the company name, and if you do that, you can see here it shows up, right? I can go ahead and clear search, and then I'm back to where I was. Okay. Anytime you see a stock table anywhere on the site, you can click on the stock symbol. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the first one here, ADM, and that immediately takes you to the stock summary page. So you can see here we've got some key information about the company. We've got, you know, how long have they been paying dividends? What is the payout ratio? What is the market cap? What industry are they in? You can see that there's a company description here available to you. There was also the stock history. So the history goes back to 1999, and you can see the dividends per share, average dividend yield, earnings per share, and average PE ratio. So this stock summary page is going to look the same for every stock. Of course, the data is going to change because you're looking at different stocks, but we give that to you as well. And then we also have, again, a table where you can look at minimal view or extended view, and you can see all of the SI criteria for our company ADM. And then there's also a graph that's available to you. You can go back 20 years, 15, 10, 5, or maximum. If you do maximum, it'll go back to 1999. And you can take a look at the dividends per share, low price, high price, average price, and earnings. So that's always going to be available to you. I'm going to go ahead and click on back. And we're back to our homepage. And so again, you've got access to the 8 different tables available to you here. Okay, let's move on. We're going to now click here where it says search/compare. So I'm going to click here. So on this page, you can search by stock symbol. Again, later this year, we'll add the functionality to search by company name, but for now, you have to enter the stock symbol. So let's say I'm interested in, I don't know, Pepsi. I'm going to go ahead and put in the stock symbol. I'm going to make sure that I've selected the right country. And so this will search across the entire, so in this case, the country is US, so it's going to search across the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ across both exchanges. Just type in the stock symbol, click search, and you can see here, Pepsi, you've got all of your information. Again, minimal view, extended view. You can add additional columns, you can hide columns, you can drag and drop columns here, you can sort. Well, you wouldn't be, it's only one company here, so you're not going to be sorting, but you can drag and drop columns any way you like. The other functionality we will be adding later this year is going to be custom filters here. I'm going to show you that on the home page in just a couple of minutes. And again, click on the stock symbol and it will take you to the stock summary page. I'm going to go ahead and click back and then click back again here. So notice I'm using the back buttons on the page. And so I'm going to do that. And then I'm back to the basic search page, where what we were looking at before. The other thing you can do is advanced search. And this is extremely powerful. You could, for example, say, give me a list of all of the companies trading on the New York Stock Exchange that have been paying dividends for more than 50 years consecutively. So you could do that. I'm going to go ahead and click reset. You could also say, give me a list of all of the companies that are top ranked, so they get 10 out of 10 in the SI criteria, that are trading on NASDAQ, and that are in the energy sector or industrials. Okay, so you can do that and search. You can also filter even further by industry. So you can select the industry. Again, you can select the different exchanges. You could also, I'll just give you one more example here. So let's say I want to look at the New York Stock Exchange. Every single stock on the exchange, whether it's dividend paying or not, but every stock on the New York Exchange that is undervalued today, and it is in the insurance industry. And so you could do that as well. So like I said, this is very powerful to be able to do an advanced search across the entire stock market. Okay, I'm going to click on compare stocks. So what we can do here is compare stocks side by side. So for example, if I want to look at Coca-Cola and Pepsi, okay, I'm only searching two stocks. You can do 5, 10, 15, 20. You just got to separate it with a comma. Put the stock symbol in, make sure you select the right country. And so I've put in Coca-Cola and Pepsi. I'm going to go ahead and click compare. And you can see both companies side by side. I can compare the SI criteria if I wanted to. You also have 136 other columns you could compare with. For example, return on assets, return on capital. You could do that. And we can see here, just by looking at it, that currently Coca-Cola has more failures in the SI criteria than Pepsi. And how do I know that? The failures are highlighted. So we highlight the value when a company fails the SI criteria. So for example, remember we said rule number 6, dividend growth must be 8% or more. Well, you can see that Coca-Cola is less than 8%, so the value is highlighted. Pepsi is above 8%, so no need to highlight that. Pepsi passes rule number 6. I'm going to go ahead and click back and then click back again. And now we are back at the home page. Now we're going to take a look at custom filters. So manage filters. Now, before I do that, I just want to share with you the 3 examples that we're going to go through right now together. So the first custom filter I'm going to create with you is example number 1. And what I'm going to do here is, let's say I'm an investor. I'm only interested in, I want to look at the Graham price, and I want to look at the PS ratio, price to sales ratio, and the Graham price. That's it. So I just want to add 2 additional columns. I don't want to have to go into the home page and select them every time I log in. I want to be able to have one button click that I can go directly to my custom filter. So that's example one. Then I'm going to jump into example two. Same thing, I want to look at the gram price and the price to sales ratio. I want to see those two values for every stock in my table. But for the gram price, I want to filter even further, and I only want to see companies where the gram price is greater than $90. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to do that. And then the last example is I want to look at the gram price, I want to look at the price to sales ratio, and I want to see all of the 10 SI criteria. I'm going to show you how easy it is to do that quickly without having to one by one add every SI criteria. So we've made it a lot easier to do that. So we're going to go through example 1, example 2, and example 3 right now in the application. So to create our custom filters, also I refer to them as custom views, right? Because that's going to save you time. If you have to go in here every single time and pick which column you want to see and hide which columns you don't want to see, every time you log in, that's going to get tedious. So we're going to create our filter or view once, and then anytime you log back in, it's going to be one click and you're going to be able to access that immediately. So I'm going to click here where it says Manage Filters. Okay, and I'm going to click at the top here where it says New Custom Filter. So you could name it whatever you want. You know, in this, I could have called it gram price or price to sales ratio. I'm going to call it example 1. That's it. I'm going to click Create. Okay, I'm going to go back to example 1 here. So now if you made a mistake, you can delete it. Or if you want to make updates to it, you want to rename it, click on Update. I'm going to go ahead and click on Configure. Okay, so now we're going to add our new custom filter component. And remember I said I was looking at the gram price, so I'm going to add the gram price. In the first example, there is no operator required. I'm going to say not needed. There you go. None needed. I don't need to put a value in here. Visible, yes, I want to be able to see it. And active, yes, it's got to work because that's the filter I'm creating. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Create button. Okay, there's the gram price and it's visible. I'm going to add the second one. And we said that was going to be the price to sales ratio. So let's go ahead and do that. Again, operator we don't need. I just want to be able to see it, the value. I'm not going to filter on the value whether it's high or low. So we're going to say none needed. Click Create. Okay, done. Our first filter is now ready to be used. So let's click on Back to Overview. Okay, so now again, I'm looking at the New York Stock Exchange, 18 stocks that are top ranked. Now when I log in anytime in the future, I want to apply my filter or view. I'm going to go ahead and click on example 1. And you can see there it is. Now I'm looking at the gram price and the price to sales ratio for all 18 stocks. Okay. And like I said earlier, in the coming weeks and months, we are going to be adding this drop down here to pretty much most of our tables anywhere on the website. So if you do an advanced search, then you can apply this custom filter. If you're doing a basic search, you can apply a custom filter. If you're comparing stocks, you can apply a custom filter, right? So that's going to be in the coming weeks and months. We will be adding that additional functionality. And if you remember the old platform, you had to manually create a filter for each of these tables. So you don't have to do that anymore. I can go to runners up and I can apply the same filter. So anywhere, this filter is now available globally in the application everywhere. Okay, let's go back to Manage Filters. I am now going to create a new custom filter, and that's our example number 2. Okay, create. And here's example number 2 right here. I'm going to click on Configure. I'm going to add a new custom component. And if you remember from the slide deck, it's going to be the gram price again. But now we want to filter even further. We want to see only stocks where the gram price is greater than $90. So you see how I did that? I'm going to create. And then I'll add the second one, which was the same as before, which is the price to sales ratio. We don't need an operator for this one. Click create, and it's done. Let's go back to overview. So now you see there's 18 stocks in our top ranked table. Let's see what happens when I apply custom filter number 2, which is give me a list of companies where the gram price is greater than $90. And so you can see here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I only have 8 companies remaining in the list because I applied my own custom view or custom filter. Let's go on and do our last example, number 3. So I'm going to create a new filter, example 3. Now remember the example 3 was we wanted to show the gram price, the price to sales ratio, and all of our 10 SI criteria, right? Because we don't want to have to add those in manually every single time. So see what it says, use SI criteria here, top rank criteria. We're going to say yes, click create. And you can see, I'm going to go to example number 3, click on configure, that the system has already added 10 SI criteria, all 10, they're right here. And so you can see here, it actually set up, you know, the, for example, rule 5A, EPS growth over 20 years, greater than or equal to 8, right? So it already set that up. And so the only thing I would need to do is add my own, which again, we said, let's add the gram price to what we already have. I'm not going to put an operator this time. Click create, and it's done. I can go back to our review, and you can see example number 3 is now ready to be used. Okay, let's move on to our next item at the main menu here at the top where it says plan. Remember, our application is going to help you plan, track, and achieve your goals. I'm going to go ahead and click on plan. Okay, first thing is to set your goals. I've already done this before, but let's change it. So let's say my goal is I want to earn $90,000 in dividend income every year. And I want to achieve that by the year 2040. And my base currency, let's change that to US dollars and click save. Okay, so your goal is saved. We're going to revisit that when we go to the achieve page, but this is where you set your financial freedom goal. Next is going to be the watch list. So right here, I'm going to click on watch list. Okay, now for all of the existing customers that were using the old Simply Investing platform, okay, let's just refresh the page here, just make sure we're getting the watch list. There we go. So for all existing customers that were coming in from the old Simply Investing platform, we have now imported all of your watch lists from the previous platform. Any new customers, the watch list is going to be empty. The watch list is basically a list of stocks that you might be interested in, right? You don't own them because they would be in your portfolio, but you're interested, you want to keep an eye on them. So in this example, I've added one company that I'm interested in on the New York Exchange. If I go to NASDAQ, I've got, let's see how many companies we have in here. So you can add as many as you like. So I've got another one in here in the Toronto. Let's see if we have anything there. I've got 2 over here in the Toronto Stock Exchange. So again, I'm not going to go over the same functionality here. There's 136 columns to choose from. You can add or remove which columns you want to see. We have, again, the minimal view, the extended view, same as before. You can look for stocks in your current table. I only have 2 stocks here, so pretty easy. I don't need to search anything. And like I said, in the coming weeks, we will be adding the custom filter here as well, so you can apply the custom filter to your watch list. So pretty straightforward. If you want to add an item to the watch list, just click here. I can click on New York. Let's search by name. Let's say, so if I wanted to add Walmart, I can search by the company name, click on it, and then click save, and it's going to add Walmart to my watch list. If you want to remove any companies, click here where it says remove, and you can see the list of companies here, and you can just click on the delete icon to delete any companies from there. Okay, let's move on now to our next item on the list here. So we're going to go to the track page. So at the top of the menu here, I'm going to click on track. So again, for existing customers coming from the Simply Investing platform, we have copied over your portfolio, migrated over to the new web application. So all of the stocks that you currently had listed in your portfolio are now available here. We have now, same as before in the platform, we've separated by country. So here's all of the stocks I have in the US. If I click on Canada, here's all the stocks I have in Canada. So you can see that we organize it so the currency remains the same when you're looking at your stock holdings. You can look here, we're showing the country portfolio. So I selected the US. So it's showing me my expected annual income from the stocks. In the coming weeks, you are going to be also able to add funds like mutual funds, index funds, and ETFs. But this is new functionality. We never had that in the platform before. So this will be added later in the coming months. But for now, same functionality as before. All of your stocks are listed in here. You can also add businesses. So if you've got a car wash, a retail store, or a side hustle, a side business, you can add that in there and put your annual estimated income. And so the system will calculate the total estimated annual income from all of your investments combined. If I switch this to Canada, you can see that the page updates accordingly, and it's showing me the total annual income here in Canadian dollars. Next, you can see the diversification. So you can see I only have two companies here. I've got Bank of Montreal and TC Energy. So it shows the split according to the sector. And you can see in this example, I've got 82% of my Canadian investments in energy and 17% in financial services. So you can see that here. The other thing we're going to be adding in the coming weeks is going to be a combined portfolio table at the very top. It will combine all of your holdings from both countries and in the future from 3 or 4 countries and put it all into one combined portfolio. So that is already planned and that's coming in just a few weeks and that'll be available. The rest of the stuff, I'm not going to go over it. It's the same as before. You can select from 136 different columns. You can change the view from minimal to extended. You also have the custom filter. So the filters that we created are now available here to you. And so all of this is similar to what we covered on the home page as well. Okay, let's go to add, sorry, not over there. What I wanted to talk about was here very quickly. If you need to remove a company, you can click here. It says delete, so you can delete it. If you want to edit a company, like the number of quantity of shares you have, you can click on edit and that'll show you the quantity and you can change it. For example, let me click on that right now for Walt Disney. There you go. So we've got the quantity, we've got the purchase price, you've got the brokerage name, your brokerage fee, your account type, whether it's a 401k or IRA or RRSP or TFSA, and the purchase date. So you can update that information. Some of this is new functionality that didn't exist in the platform. So we will not have a purchase date for you because in the old platform, we never calculated that. So you can more than welcome to go in and update that for all of your existing holdings. We will use the purchase date later, like I said, in the coming weeks, it's new functionality in calculating the dividend yield on cost for you. And that'll be available coming soon. Okay, let's move on to our next page here, Achieve. And so this is all new functionality for Achieve. And so it's not completely finished. It will be ready in the coming weeks. But I'll go through some of the stuff here. This was not available in the old platform, so this is brand new functionality. And so what you can do here is it's going to show you how close you are to achieving your financial freedom goal. And you'll remember I put in, $90,000 in dividend income was my goal. And it's going to calculate the total forward annual income from your portfolio. Okay, it's not doing that right now. We're going to be updating that soon, and it'll add that in there. It can also add future annual income, right? If you want to use the mock portfolio to see how much you would need to invest to get closer to your financial goal. So there's two ways to do that, to get to your goal, right? So step one is you can either decrease the amount of money you're paying in fees currently for mutual funds, index funds, and ETFs, and that'll be available here under the fee table. If you click on it, it's not available right now. See, we put a note in here, but it will be. And so you can take a look at the fees and see if there's a way for you to reduce the amount of fees you're paying to help you reach your financial goal sooner. And then the next thing is, of course, to increase the amount of dividend income. So the more money you have to invest, then the more you can make in dividend income. So we have this mock portfolio. You can click on it here. And here you can add in stocks. You can even add in mutual funds, index funds, ETFs if you want. And if you're thinking about buying a business or starting a business, you can put a business in here. And the system will calculate your estimated annual income from those investments. And then it'll use that data to update your target goal of getting to your freedom goal, financial freedom goal. So like I said, this is in the coming weeks. We are working to implement that, and that'll be available. And then you can also use the portfolio growth simulator. So this is working right now. You can use it if you like. So for example, I'm going to click here where it says configure portfolio growth simulator. So let's say I've got $50,000 ready to invest if it's coming from your 401k or RRSP account, or you inherited some money, or you've been sitting on this money in a savings account for the last 10, 15 years. So if you've got $50,000 to invest, and then you plan on investing an additional $1,000 a year, okay? We're going to skip the inflation part for now. We're going to skip using personal history. We're going to put a dividend yield of, let's say, 4.5%. Share price growth, I'll put in, 7.5%. These are just estimates, right? And living expenses, if you want, you can add them in here. I'm going to leave it out for now. I'm going to click on save. And you can see that it shows you, starting now, all the way, and it goes down, it goes to 50 years, fast forward into the future. And you can see how your $50,000 invested today, in the first year will earn $2,250 in dividends, and how that continues to grow. And you can see by the time we get to the 26-year mark, your portfolio is over $1 million, and you're now earning over $44,000 a year in dividend income. And you started with $50,000, right? So this is a way to try out and test out different numbers, different values that make sense for you. And it's all built around helping you achieve your financial goal. Okay, so next, this is the course page. So if you click here, again, this is going to be available to people who had paid for the course originally prior to January 1st, 2025, and available to any future new customers that are coming on board. And so if you click on it, you can see the course is here. You've got access to all of the modules and access to all of our downloads as well. So it's all here. The next thing is member group. So regardless of if you purchased the course separately from the platform, or now you're paying for the Simply Investing application, all of our clients will now have access to a private LinkedIn group. It replaces the old forum that we had. So it's an opportunity for you to ask questions, look at other questions and answers from other clients. So if you click on it, I'm not logged into LinkedIn right now. It's going to prompt you to log into you have to have a LinkedIn account, and then just click on join group. I'll get an email as soon as I approve that. Then you'll have access to the LinkedIn group. So I highly recommend everybody click on that and get signed up to the private members LinkedIn group. Okay, next we are going to look at here. I'm going to click on the top right. There's a question mark here, so let's click on that. So there you've got access to the video, the same video you're watching right now. It will be available in the application within the next day or two. So we're going to upload it here. So you've got access to that. You've got access to our glossary. I'm going to click here. There you go. It's got all the definitions for everything. If you want to see the 12 rules and the SI criteria, there you go. Same as what I showed you on the slides before. There's a little bit more information available to you from there. Building your portfolio, we've got some steps, instructions, so that's all available to you here. This is essentially taking you back to our website, but it was a quick way to put that information and update it more frequently than going into the web application. So you've got that information there. There's an FAQ page. And again, that's going to take you to a website. We've separated into 3 parts. Questions related to the web application itself, general investing questions, and then questions about the course. Okay, next I'm going to go back to the top right. There's a little gear. I'm going to click on this. This is going to be your user settings. So you can see all of your user settings. You can see what plan you're on. You see what you have access to. So this person's got access to the US stock market, Canadian, and to the course. Cancellation process for now, just send me an email. In the future, we will be making this as sort of a self-serve option where you can pause your subscription if you want. In the future, you can cancel it if you want. So you're going to be able to do that directly from here, but that'll be in the coming months, not right now. Next, you can click here where it says change password. So you can change your password if you want to do that. And then next, I'm going to click on alerts. And this is all of your alerts, again, for existing customers on the Simply Investing platform. We have copied over, migrated all of your existing alerts to the new web application. And so let me give you an example of what that looks like if you're brand new to alerts. So I'm going to go ahead and click on alert. And so I'm going to give it a name. I'll just call it Pepsi Updates. And Pepsi trades on the NASDAQ. I'm going to go ahead and look up the company name. There we go. Click on create. Okay, so it's here. I can configure it. I can delete it. I can make updates to it if I want to rename it or something. I'm going to go ahead and click on configure. I'm going to click on new custom filter component. So what I'm doing here is I want to get an alert, an email, when the share price for Pepsi goes below $130 or the dividend goes above $6 a share. So I want to get notified. I want to get an alert by email. So let's start with the share price first. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And again, you've got access to 136 sort of values that you can select on and create an alert, very unique to yourself and to your stocks that you're interested in. So share price less than $130. I'm going to switch this to OR, and you'll see what I mean in just a few seconds why I did that. Click create. And the next one I want to put in again for Pepsi is going to be the annual forward dividend. And I want to be notified when the dividend is greater than $6 a share. Click create. Because this is the last one, I'm only doing 2 sort of alerts. I can leave this to and, or it doesn't matter. The default is and, we'll just leave it at that. Create. So now you can see here for Pepsi, I've got, an alert for when the share price is less than $130 or the annual dividend is greater than $6. If either one of these conditions is true, I will get an email alert letting me know that this has happened, and then I can make an investing decision at that time. Now, I'm going to go ahead and change this first one. So I'm going to go to update, and I'm going to change this to and instead of or. Click update. Okay, so now it says and. So what this means is the share price, for me to get an email, the share price for Pepsi must be less than $130 and the annual dividend must be greater than $6. So both conditions have to be true, and then I will get an email alert. Okay, this is how the old platform used to work. So any of your existing alerts we've copied over. The closing operator has been and. But in this new platform, you can set or conditions if you want. So that's available to you. Okay, next, I'm going to go ahead and click on email lists. Okay, so this is quite simple. If you want to get a daily email of top ranked stocks, you can click here, weekly or monthly. So you can decide on that. Same thing with runners up, daily, weekly, monthly. If you're subscribed to a single country, then it's going to be for that country. If you're subscribed to both countries, you're going to get, if you say daily, you're going to get top ranked stocks for, let's say, Canada, and then top ranked stocks for US every day if you select daily. And then same thing with deep valued. So those options are available. I'm going to put this back to none, and then you can save that and you're good to go. Again, for existing customers on the platform, this was copied over. Your settings from the old platform have been copied over, and so these will automatically be set for you if you had set them in the platform. The next button here is for notifications at the top right. I'm going to click on it. Okay. Now this is a brand new feature enhancement. We did not have this functionality in the platform in the past. This is brand new, and this will be available much later in the year. And what we're thinking about is putting in some type of notification, for example, when a stock that you own has raised its dividend or reduced the dividend, or there's been a stock split. So anything that would have changed for stocks that you currently own, we will later in the year be able to provide some kind of notifications to you here on this page. And then the last one, of course, is to log out. So you can click that when you're done and you can log out of the application. All right, if you have any questions, if anybody has any questions, feel free to send me an email. You've got my email address right here, info@simplyinvesting.com. Thanks for watching.